What is up, guys? So today we're going to make another quick tutorial on making a quick saving system. So we're going to create a few stats here. We will have stats such as coins and kills. Those two are typically your most basic stats that people want to save. So let's get right into it. So first of all, this is what we're going to do to make it just a little simpler on us. In server storage, we're going to create a folder called stats, and within stats we're going to make two values. These will be number values. So we're going to have coins and we're going to have kills, right? You could set those to 0. It doesn't really matter what the value is. Cool, right? So now let's make a script, and we're going to call this player setup. Before I forget, one important thing to do in order to be able to save data using your DataStore service, you will need to go into your experience settings, go into security, and enable studio access to API services, right? This will allow us to use data stores. All right, so let's start line by line. So first of all, we're going to do local players equals game get service players, right? This is just to get our service players. Then we're going to get our server storage, and then we're going to get our stats folder template that we have right here, right? So this is obviously located in the server storage. So server storage, wait for child, stats, right? Because it's right there. Now we need to get our data store service. So game get service, data store, and then we have to get our game data store. Our game data store is like kind of like the name of our save, right? I could name this game data 1, game data 2, but that's one way to put it. Right, so now that we have this template folder, we have to actually give it to the player to be able to save the data whenever it changes. So player added. So whenever this event happens, we're going to do a function. We're going to pass player, because when a player is added, this gets passed, so we know what player has been added. So we're going to make a clone of our template folder, and we're going to parent it to the player. So now we go in here. Our player has a stats folder. Cool. Now we need to be able to load data. We don't have data yet, but I'll show y'all why we'll do this right now. So load data, cool. We're gonna load data and we're gonna pass the player variable. Cool. So now let's go to our function, make a function called function load data, and pass variable player. So this is very common. The player ID is what is used for your game data store key. Your game data store key is kind of like the name of the slots for the player. Your game data store key allows you to get your data. And since every player has a unique player user ID, this is what it is usually used as the key for this data, because it is a unique identifier for each player. Cool, so we get our player user ID. We locate our stats folder that we just gave our player. And just in case for some reason it didn't properly clone it into our player, we're just gonna make this little return state. We'll just make this return line just in case our stats folder doesn't exist. Cool, now we're gonna do a quick function, a pcall function, to get our date. Right, so we're gonna do local success data equals pcall function, and it calls to return, so to get back our game data store get a sync player ID, right? So this is going to get the save from our game data store, and we're going to look for our player ID and try to get the data. So here it says if success and data, right? So if we successfully got our data, then our stats folder coins value will equal to the data coins, to the value of the coins in our data, and our stats folder kills value will equal to the data kills, will equal to the value, will equal to the data kill value. But let's say we don't have any data. You're a brand new player, but you want the player to start off with 10 coins, right? What you could do is you could manually just put 10 coins here and boom, not have to worry about that. But what I like to do is, if there is no data, then this here is our default value, right? I don't need to do, because there's no reason it should change from 0 when this gets initiated. But if you want to do that, sure. But yeah, if the data doesn't exist, our default values will be this, right? Our coins will be 10 and our kills will be 0. Cool. So that loads our data, whether we have data or not. So now let's actually save our data. Let's go back down here. So player removing, this is the event, right? So when a player is getting removed, we're going to do this function. It's going to pass the variable player again, right? So we know what player is being removed, right? So as a player is being removed, let's save the data. So save data, that's the name of our function. We're going to pass the player, right? So let's go to function save data player. Cool. Once again, this is super critical. The same key, which is our player ID, this is what we're using as our key. But you have to ensure that whatever your key is will be the same for your load data and your save data. Because if our save data for some reason is save, right? So this entire thing will be like a bunch of numbers underscore save. And we try to load just using player user ID, we won't get anything back because we saved it under this key, which is not the same as this. So super critical, make sure the keys are the same. All right, cool. Once again, we're gonna look for our stats folder. Cool, now we're gonna make a table for data, right? So local data equals, make these squiggly parentheses to make a table. We're gonna make variables, right? We're gonna make 2 variables for our 2 stats. So we're gonna do coins, and that value is going to equal to our stats folder coins value. So whatever our value is for our coins, the data is gonna get that. And same for our kills, right? Get the kill value from your stats folder and set it to this variable right here, right? If you want to add more variables like so what else? Wins. It goes stats folder wins value. If you're gonna do this, make sure you add a wins variable right there, right? Otherwise, it won't do anything. And since I'm already doing that, I'm just showing you basically how you could add more values, right? Same, very simple. Hopefully, it's pretty self-explanatory. Cool. So this is our data that we're going to save, right? So once again, we're going to do another pcall function, right? So we're going to do a game. So write this as it is. We're going to do game DataStore set async. So we're going to set async our data. We're going to set our data. We're going to use our player ID, which is this right here, this entire thing. And we're going to save our data. These are the 2 things we're passing. We're passing the key and we're passing the data, right? Cool. If it's not successful, it will give us a warning that, hey, it could not be saved. Okay. Cool. So that is basically how our save function works. And this here is the entirety of your save system. Very simple, very basic. If you guys want to make it more encrypted, that's up to y'all, but this is just showing y'all the basics on how a game data store save system looks like. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm getting used to still making tutorials, so I took advice on to zooming into the script so y'all can see a little more clear. But I hope this tutorial made sense for y'all. It is a simple tutorial. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns about something, leave them down in the comments below and I'll help y'all out. I am also helping people out on Discord to make their games and stuff. But yeah, thank y'all for watching.